Hello everybody. A very good morning to the honorable session chairs and all the participants present in this technical session on the theme Sustainable Green Technology. I, Ishani Goha Roy, student of BBA at Amity University, Haryana, will be your host today. At the outset, we would like to thank our respected session chairs, Dr. Swati Prasad and Dr. Pooja Jaiswal, for making time from their busy schedule and being here with us to evaluate the academic submission of theirs and provide them valuable feedback to enable them to refine their work further. Before we begin with the presentations, I would like to introduce our eminent session chairs. Firstly, I would like to introduce Dr. Swati Prasad. Dr. Swati Prasad is an assistant professor in the Faculty of Management Studies at Parul University, Vadodara, Gujarat. She is doctorate from Thapa Institute of Engineering and Technology in Retail Investors Behavior in the School of Humanities and Social Sciences. She holds an MHRD degree from HND Garhwal University. She has 4 research papers published in ABDC journals, 2 in UGC listed journals, and 5 in international conferences. She also worked as a reviewer in 20 different journals, and she's very familiar with PLS, SEM, and AMOS. Now, I would like to introduce our internal session chair, Dr. Pooja Jaiswal. Dr. Pooja Jaiswal is Assistant Professor, Human Resource Management at Amity Business School, Amity University, Haryana. Her primary area of interest is human resource management and organizational behavior. Prior to joining Amity Business School, she has worked with Birla Institute of Technology, Ranchi, and National Institute of Sales as Assistant Professor. Dr. Pooja also has the industry experience of 4 years where she has worked as HR manager on functions like recruitment, training, development, and performance appraisal. She is also having keen interest in research and published papers in many national and international journals. Her main area of interest and research are training, skill, and employee development, talent management, leadership development, and organizational development. I welcome Dr. Swati Prasad and Dr. Pooja Jaiswal on board.
Okay, thank you, Ishani.
Thank you, Sunny.
Now I would like to brief the participants about certain rules of the session. All the participants will be given 8 minutes for presentation, followed by 2 minutes of question and answers. All the participants will present the paper in the sequence which has been shared earlier with you. So best of luck to all the participants. Now, I would like to call our first participant, Mr. Hemant Kumar.
Hello everyone, my name is Hemant Kumar.
Yeah.
And is my audio and visuals are clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me share my screen. So good morning everyone. My name is Hemant Kumar. Today I am going to present my research paper on design and simulation of tin halide based perovskite solar cell for enhanced efficiency, which I have prepared under the guidance of Dr. Piyush Verma and Dr. Balvinder Raj, who are the faculty members at National Institute of Technical Teachers Training and Research in Chandigarh. So these are the contents we will go through during this presentation. So as for introduction, we all know that fossil fuels are depleting at alarming rate and they are expected to run out sooner than later. So to avoid that, we should turn towards renewable energy sources like solar energy, but our technology is still limited to be able to convert that energy practically via solar cell is up to around 25% successfully. And as for inorganic photovoltaics that are efficient and stable, but they are toxic and harmful to nature. And whereas organic photovoltaics, they are non-toxic, but they are not very efficient and are unstable when are exposed to air. So a good photovoltaic should have qualities like environment. They should be environment friendly, power conversion efficient, flexible, non-brittle, stable, and long lasting. So in the abstract, we have designed and simulated an environment-friendly lead-free tin halide-based perovskite solar cell using the following charge transport materials. And we used this CAPS 1D solar cell simulator, and cesium tin halide-based perovskite was used as the light harvester for this device. And we also reviewed some emerging inorganic photovoltaic technologies such as heterojunction back contact and tungsten oxide passivated contacts and tin-based perovskites. So HVC photovoltaics are made when interdigitated back contacts idea was applied to heterojunction structure, which provided the properties of high open circuit voltage and a high quality passivation, which reduces the reflections from this solar cell device. In 2014, first HBC solar cell was designed and simulated by Sharp and Panasonic simultaneously, and they both gained beyond 25% of efficiency. In 2017, Kenka Corporation gained beyond 26% of efficiency, and later that year they gained more around 0.3% of efficiency, and they revealed that efficiency of HBC solar cell can be increased by changing its fabricating methods and using an RFPECVD deposition tool to form amorphous silicon layer on a standard N-type crystalline silicon wafer, and using anisotropic etching for front surface texturing could reduce the reflections, and they also optimized this rare interdigitated patterns and reduce some of the series resistance occurred in this device. And TOPCon solar cell, which in TOPCon solar cell stands for tunnel oxide passivated contact technologies, which was founded by Fraunhofer ISE in 2013. They applied a high temperature annealing to transform the silicon layer into doped polysilicon, which combined with the silicon dioxide layer to form the TOPCon structure, which replaced the fully doped rear surface of the traditional screen printed aluminum back surface filled solar cell. And they exhibited a good thermal stability and simpler to manufacture. At start, they gained the power conversion efficiency of 23%. In this graphical representation, you can see the structure of that solar cell design. And in 2015, the Fraunhofer ISE again reported the efficiency of 25.1% by using the selective emitter assembly with boron diffusion, followed by atomic layer deposition of aluminum trioxide and plasma enhanced chemical vapor deposition using nitride silicon to passivate the surface to reduce the reflection and front surface. In 2016, Mr. Tao and his company combined the tunnel oxide layer with screen printed front contact on homogeneous boron emitter to provide sufficient surface passivation, and finally obtained the power conversion efficiency of 21.4% on commercial grade and type CG wafers. In this graphical representation, it shows that using tunnel oxide, we can gain better performance rather than the one without tunnel oxide assembly. And in 2016, Gottfried Wilhelm and ISFH combinedly revealed the efficiency of 25% passivated rear contacts on silicon photovoltaic. The key cause of this was polysilicon oxide contact points, and which consist of thin silicon oxide and doped polysilicon layer. It dramatically reduced the recombination beneath the electric contact and increased the VOC. And as we all know that perovskites are the newest addition to the solar cell technology, which are commonly comes in either in lead-based or tin-based assembly. And we all know that lead-based are toxic in nature, and tin-based are less to no toxic, and they are also less stable when are exposed to air, and they must be manufactured in an inert environment with careful encapsulation. If And to solve that problem in 2017, Patcher and their colleagues used use a tin halide based lead-free all inorganic cesium-tin germanium triodide light absorber and their perovskite solar cell. And when they exposed it to air, it developed a 5 nanometer native oxide germanium layer with 100% of coverage. And they noticed that the less than 10% efficiency decline in after the 500 hours of continuous operation. In 2022, Asha Chauhan and their colleagues used cesium-10 halide-based perovskite coupled with various all inorganic charge collective layers, and they gained beyond the 25% of efficiency. In our research, I have used cesium-10 halide-based perovskite, and we used various types of uh, whole transport layer and electron transport layers, and we ran of about 9 different configurations and gained beyond 24% of efficiency in most of the cases. And the most prominent of them was the last one, using the copper oxide and the zinc oxide as their charge transport layers. It showed the efficiency of 24.22%. So in conclusion, we can say that silicon-based perovskite photovoltaic cells are still around 25% efficient, and by adopting new and more advanced fabricating methods could result in producing more stable and energy efficient photovoltaics. But whereas tin-based perovskite solar cells are promising, and especially cesium-tin halide based with 10 of 4 positive charge around it based photovoltaics, as they are non-toxic and more stable than the previous one, previous traditional cesium-tin halide based perovskites, and they are earth abundant also and almost as efficient as a silicon based perovskite solar cells, photovoltaic solar cells. So these are the references. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Swati, would you like to ask any questions?
Yes, I have two questions. First is, what is the implication of your research?
Sorry,
What is the
excuse me.
what is the implication of your research paper?
Ma'am, I have reviewed some new technologies and simulated one of them to know that which one is better performing in today's technologies. And as we know that renewable energy sources are very much needed in today's times. So this might help the future researchers to know where we should use our time to gain more knowledge and gain perfect technology to get more energy from solar, this type.
Second thing is not a question. This is like advice for you. So
Yes,
I saw your confidence is little bit low. Okay, so
yes,
next time I think you will be improve yourself. Okay.
yes, I will, sir. Thank you.
You have time to share your screen, right? And you have 7 minutes for the presentation and 5 minutes for the question.
Now I would like to call our next participant, Vishwanaik Raikar.
Hi everyone. I think am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Please allow me some time to share my screen.
Yes, okay.
Is it visible?
No, not now.
Not yet.
Okay, I think it's loading. I'm getting, yeah. Yeah, I think it's visible now.
Yes, it's visible. You can
Okay.
start.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, respected delegates and my fellow participants. So I'm Vishwa and I'm from Goa. I'm a research scholar and assistant professor in Dempo College, Goa. The research paper I have written is titled The Sustainability Disclosure in Renewable Energy Sector Evaluating Scoring Framework. So this I have written along with Professor Dr. Purva Hegde Desai. Starting with abstract, as we all know that sustainability is the new buzzword because pollution and global warming is rising at an alarming rate. So United Nations 2030 agenda states that there are 17 sustainable development goals given and which are supposed to be achieved by that year. Uh, Nowadays, along with annual report, very often companies are also coming up with something called as sustainability reports, wherein they are stating what were the initiatives taken by the company to attain the sustainable development goals. There is research conducted in the area wherein a lot of researchers are stressing on what are the reporting tools. For example, there are GRI guidelines, that is Global Reporting Initiative. There is something called as Carbon Disclosure Project. So all these different guidelines of framework, as of now in India, nothing is mandatory. So it is a voluntary disclosure practice wherein if a company wishes to, they can disclose a sustainability report. So from my literature review, the gap that I faced was this kind of research was not done with renewable energy technology or renewable energy company. So for my research paper, I have selected a company called Azure Power, and I have taken its sustainability report as a case study and applied a sustainability reporting tool. So going forward with it, a bit of a literature review on the area. Sustainability reporting tools, as I mentioned before, they are categorized as frameworks, standards, ratings, and indices by Siv et al. 2015. GRI standards are widely accepted globally, and most of the companies are seen to follow GRI guidelines worldwide. GRI enable an organization to publicly disclose its most significant impacts on economy. Also, there is something called as GRI G20 guidelines in 2013, which state what constitutes a sustainability report, like what is the ideal disclosure in a sustainability report. For my research, when I was going ahead with a bit of literature review, what I realized is there is a lot of literature done with something called as SBSC, that is Sustainability Balance Scorecard. Now, as management researchers, we all are well versed with this concept of balance scorecard, which is given by Kaplan and Norton back in time, which has 4 different areas in an organization. There is something called as sustainability balance scorecard, which has been tested on organizational disclosure. So here, what they are doing is they are also including sustainability as a separate area along with the other 4 areas. So various researchers, and it is also in fact a thing stated by the original authors of this balance scorecard, wherein they have mentioned that as and when needed, an additional aspect could be included in balance scorecard. Okay, environment performance coupled with single major organizational sustainability performance index, it makes sustainable organizational performance measurable. So for my paper, what I have done is I have chosen a sustainability balance scorecard given by Nicolo and Tillis 2013, wherein they have developed a scoring framework in which they have applied GRI guidelines to balance scorecard, and they have measured sustainability of a company. So I have applied the same scorecard to a renewable energy company that I have chosen for my research, and I have calculated score. And my conclusion is based on how well is the sustainability report actually vocal about the sustainability performance of the chosen enterprise. Problem definition. Sustainability balance scorecard has been incorporated for measuring organizations' performance, keeping sustainability into picture. So far, researchers have employed sustainability balance scorecard framework on sectors, but renewable energy so far has not been done with this kind of scorecard. So this research paper is an aim to use this framework to measure sustainability performance of clean energy, that is renewable energy sector. The methodology employed, as I mentioned before, a balanced scorecard has 4 areas, that is financial, stakeholder, internal, and learning and growth. So usually a basic balanced scorecard has customer perspective. So Kaplan, that is given by Kaplan and Norton. So this research paper, as in the scorecard that I have adopted by Mr. Nicolo, he has done customer as stakeholder. So he has taken out the customer perspective and substituted it with stakeholder perspective. And all GRI indicators are mapped along the different aspects here. So there are about 11 GRI indicators. Indicators are mentioned as we can see in the table, EC1, EC2. So for example, let me just show the analysis part. So EC1 would be a direct economic value generated and distributed. So it's a very simple framework, wherein if a specific information is mentioned, which is in GRI indicator, score is given as 1. That is a qualitative information. For example, if they have mentioned in sustainability report that this was the water conservation, or this much was the CO2 emission, it means they have mentioned only qualitative information. They have not mentioned any specific figures, then they get score of 1. If they have mentioned specific figure, they get score of 2. And if there is no information mentioned at all, then score given is 0. Okay, as in there is no score at all. So using this scoring technique, I have given score to this chosen company, that is Azure Power, for the sustainability report 2020-21. And my findings are stated as can be seen that financial perspective score attained is only 6 from total of 22, stakeholder 24 out of 82, internal perspective 22 out of 42, learning and growth 4 out of 12. So the total score attained is only 56 points out of total 158. So which basically states that as per GRI guidelines, whatever they are expecting to be disclosed, very often what companies are trying to do is they are using sustainability report just to glorify and put it forward that they are, the company is actually doing something which is contributing to sustainability. But is it actually doing it? Because very often sustainability is become the tool with which they are just luring the investors and putting this fact forward that how their company is actually enhancing the SDGs or the sustainability development goals. My conclusion, this research paper was an attempt to assess sustainability performance by adopting scorecard proposed by Nicolo and Taylor 2013 with the select company's sustainability report, that is Azure Power. Findings state that information required as a part of GRI disclosures is missing in the report, though there is ample of other information such as mapping of sustainable development goals with organizations' activity. The scorecard also suffers from certain drawbacks. For instance, when partial information is mentioned. So this is something I came across. In the scorecard, they have not mentioned that if partial information is mentioned, what score should be given. It's like if information is mentioned, it's 1. If quantitative and qualitative, it's 2. And if no information is 0. But what about when a partial information is mentioned? Thus, this calls for future research in the area. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swati.
Yes, Vishwa, very nice presentation. I
Thank
think
you,
you
ma'am.
explained everything. So I have no question for you.
Yeah, thank
Just
you,
on
ma'am.
Pooja, ma'am.
Yeah, Vishwa, very nice
Yes.
presentation. You have done a very good job. So I want to know 2-3 things from you.
Yeah.
First, I want to understand the company that you have done. So what is the
Yeah.
company all about that you have named the company?
Yeah, this is Azure Power. It's a it's a multinational and having its operations in India, ma'am. So it's not listed in Indian stock exchange. It's listed on Nasdaq, that is
Okay.
US. And another thing is, actually I have chosen this company because this is in the top 5 companies rated by Mercom Insights. So this is a rating agency wherein they have given top 5 companies Indian renewable energy. So that was one reason for choosing this company, because
So what is the exact product they are manufacturing?
solar power and wind
Solar
energy.
power.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
So this report which you has used,
Yeah.
given by some person. So can this report be used for different industries, or it is particularly given for some particular industry?
So that's what, ma'am. So sustainability report,
Yeah.
actually, as of now, like how it is mandatory to disclose your annual happenings, it is not mandatory as of now.
Okay.
But there is what I have read is from next financial year, for
Yeah.
about 1,000 listed companies who are into export, they are going to make it compulsory. So
Okay.
in future, sustainability report will be a mandate, just like how we have annual report. But there is no structure given. For example, if you look at 2-3 different companies, they are disclosing what they want. Like how in annual report we have a specific thing, like there is balance sheet, there is profit, there is income statement, there is. I mean, that's a structure that is allowing us to compare different companies. But here that is missing. So that is another gap.
Gap
And yeah,
that is you
yeah,
have
yeah.
identified. Okay, so can the company that you have done the analysis and you had found out that what is their renewable energy, or
Yeah.
what is their sustainability report, so
Yes.
do you have any recommendations that how this can be created from 56 to the 120 or something, the score that you have taken? So how can this company do the sustainability practices to increase their scores?
Yes. So what they have done is, for example, in the financial perspective, they are attaining a very low score. So the reason being, there is only one paragraph given on their economic value added. They have not mentioned anything. And as per this scorecard, there are very simple disclosures that are needed. For example, financial. If the screen is visible, financial assistance received from government. I mean, obviously they must have, but then they've just not disclosed it. A coverage of a benefit plan. Now, this coverage of benefit plan, there's only one sentence mentioned. Not much information is mentioned there. But what I have done is I've still given them a score of 2 there. Otherwise, it's like there is nothing in financial that they can be given a score on. So there is this information. What the company needs to do is they need to follow the GRI G4 2013 guidelines on how to prepare a sustainability report. I think that should solve this issue. Yeah.
Okay, Vishwa, that's all from my side.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now I would like to call next participant, Uma Suhag. Next participant is Uma Suhag.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible? Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sharing my video. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, it is visible. Uma, you can start.
I wish you good morning to all of you, all the jury members and all the faculties and doctors present here. Ma'am, my presentation is on sustainable practices used in hotels to enhance the guest satisfaction and to enhance the revisit intention of the guests towards the hotels. Nowadays tourism is a big product which is selling worldwide, and it will not be the product forever, definitely. So for making it for lasting, for making the last longer, for this product we need to have, and we need to follow the sustainable practices, so the hotels are also following. And my practice is also contributing towards the environmental sustainable practices followed by the hotels, and to improving the guest satisfaction, and for in turns the guest revisit intention and the loyalty towards the hotels are also been increasing worldwide. So my study is focused on the Delhi hotels, the hotels which are performing the green practices, like what all they are doing to contribute towards the environment, as the guests and the people all over India and all over the world are very much aware about the sustainable practices and what all the guest is following. The few people are also following at home also. So the guest is choosing the hotel on the basis of the practices they are following, or just because they just need to live with the luxury, or for the natural things which the hotels are providing to them, like not using the plastic anymore, using the bamboo sticks, using the bamboo based material, like toothbrushes which are used in the hotels. The towels are not being frequently washed in the hotels. The solar energy, more of the use of solar energy. Recycled water is being used in laundries, and gray water recyclation process is there. So all these factors are contributing towards the loyalty of the guest, which are environmental sensible. So for that, Murley et al. And many other, like Hen et al. And other, researchers have studied upon the same thing. And they have found that the guest loyalty and the satisfaction has increased by, the hotel who all are practicing such practices. So, here is my literature review, which I have taken for getting my variable certified for the same thing. In India, very few, and especially in Delhi, like recent days, many of the hotels are performing, but the hotels are, very much of frequent turnover of the guests. So it is very hard for the hotel to maintain the sustainable practices. But still, nowadays, due to the CSR policy, also, the hotel are performing, and many of very less studies have been conducted in Delhi hotel, especially in Delhi NCR hotel. So the main focus of my study is to put all that into limelight, so that people get aware, and also the government should take the right initiative towards the hotel, and not to use much of the natural resources, and save it for the later generation. uh, so my there is a problem definition, one of how and your loyalty of the guest is being affected by such practices and not following by the hotel. Are they willing to come back to the hotel if they found, if I as a guest going in any hotel, so I would be visiting the hotel back just because of the hotel is following the practices, or just because of other services the hotel is offering for us. So here is the model, as my modeling is like green practices which provide a satisfaction, and then satisfaction provide a loyalty and intention to revisit in the hotel for the guest in the who all are the guests of the hotel. International and national guests, both hotels, both guests have been undertaken during the survey, and the hotel, all age groups were also considered, and demographic, in demographic conditions, we sorry, variables, we were into the different age groups, and different cultural people also we selected. And and they have responded that yes, satisfaction has been increased, and loyalty towards such hotel have been increased just because the hotels are performing green practices. And also I have undertaken what all practices hotels are following, and what all practices guests are being aware of these days. So these days are like that solar panel and recycled water, these all things are very much aware among all of the you know customers and the people. But there are few more practices like faucets, like the water taps which hotels are used, are also bubble air tap, in which auto air taps, which prevents water and also give a pressure. So such systems have been installed in the hotel these days. I recently undertook the hotel ITC Moray Sheraton that has an initiative of green concept, and that is LEED certified hotel. So I have undertook that also, this a case study of that hotel and few of the guests from their premises. And they said all the practices which the hotel are following, they are not been aware. When they visited the hotel, they got aware, and now they are revisiting the same property because they wanted to contribute towards the environment. So the green practices have become a brand now. And the hotels are what all will be the managerial implications of my uh, you know my study would be there. The hotel will get best strategy for marketing their product, and the main product would be the green rooms and the green practices which they are following. And they can have a good survey, and they can have a good environmental contribution towards tourism and the hospitality industry. So that will enhance the turnover of the guests, as well as the improvement into the environment where we are living in. So that's all about my. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swati. Any questions?
Yes, please show me your model.
Sure, ma'am.
No, PLSM model. Not this. Okay. Here, loyalty and intention to return is
Yes.
this is independent variable or dependent variable.
Ma'am, these are independent variable. These are dependent variable, dependent on the green practices the hotels are following.
Okay. And what do you think? Satisfaction and loyalty.
Yes, ma'am.
I think satisfaction is on a loyalty position, and loyalty is on a satisfaction position. Because satisfaction is a dependent variable, not we can't say independent variable.
Ma'am, if we are satisfied, then only we are loyal. Like if any product, like if any toothpaste,
Okay.
if we are using any Colgate or any or sort of brand. So if we are satisfied with that, then only we will be loyal to that brand. Otherwise, we'll not be the loyal
Okay.
one. Yes, sir.
And your loading factor is also very low, just like GP2 7.707.
Yes, ma'am. Few of the as I undertook various guests, the guests were only the hotels which are performing the green practices. So a few of the variables are up and down, but these are the real variables which I have received, and I'm showing it to you.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, Uma.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yeah, very nice presentation.
Thank
So
you.
I have one question from you. The study that you have done is only on the 5-star hotels, or it is for the other hotels also?
Ma'am, four-star and five-star hotels. There
Okay.
are small leading hotel chain group also, which are
Okay.
performing such practices like Lemon Tree Hotel and
Uh-huh.
Tribo Hotel.
Hmm.
And five-star, it comes to ITC Hotel, Taj Hotel, Leela Gurgaon. So
How,
that
how much data have you collected from there?
I'm 278.
To 278 were the customers you have given the questionnaire.
Yes, ma'am. I have given that to the hotel also, like as a feedback form. They have filled, got that filled from their customer online also, because I preferred Google Forms, because like as I am practicing green practices, so not to use much of paper. So I gave that to the hotel, and they allowed, they forwarded that to your guest, to their guest.
Okay, so I just want to know that these practices which are being adopted in the 5-star hotels, but in the country like India, there are so many hotels where the people are going. So what suggestion you will give that these small hotels except the 5-star hotel, can also adopt such some sustainability practices. So what practices they can adopt?
Ma'am, like garbage recyclation, garbage segregation. This is, must, and I think that is applicable everywhere. Even in colleges and schools, they are performing that. Also, the use of solar, more of solar power, solar energy.
Yeah.
And if like everybody is at home, also they are using the solar panels, and we save the energy out of it. And one hotel, there is a 4-star hotel, Opals Orchid, in nearby airport. That hotel is having the rainwater harvesting also. So what they do is recycling the water which is collected out of rain and using it for aggregation and some other purposes which purification of the environment.
Okay, thank you, Uma.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Have a nice day.
Now I would like to call next participant, Sonal Singh.
Yes. Sonal, are you there? Sonal? I think she's not there. Ishani, we can go with the next candidate. No, she's there. Sonal is there. Okay. Yeah.
Sonal Singh, are you there, ma'am?
Yes, Sonal.
Ma'am,
Are you there? Can you hear us, Sonal? I think Ishani, we can continue with the next candidate. Okay.
Our next participant is Veena Santosh Rai.
Hello, ma'am.
And Violet Seema Pinto.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You.
One second. I'm sharing the screen.
Yeah.
Is my screen is available?
Yes.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Actually, my camera is not working properly.
Okay, Veena, you can start with the presentation.
Yeah, okay. Actually, under the guidance of Dr. Veena Santosh Rai, we wrote a paper like eco-tourism in Karnataka, especially in a sustainable challenge. This is a content what we are going to discuss about this, and this is abstract. Like in our tourism industry, we specifically choose our Kodagu industries. Like how Kodagu is very known very full. It is in Karnataka. Like how the people are addicted to the tourisms and all. Now the sustainable challenges came out through myths. After the pandemic, there is a lot of changes in our tourism industry. There is a shutdown. A lot of resorts and hotels and tourism places are shut down. Now they came up with the new ideas, new infrastructures and all. Now this is introduction little bit of tourism. Like tourism, it's very beautiful. If you heard only, you will feel like yes, tourism means we'll have to spend a day like. You have to go for a vacation, so you have to spend a day like that. Will think. Then now tourism as very useful for the spend various holidays in their places. This is a literature review where our studies has taken. This is a problem definition, a statement problem indicates a study, ecotourism in a pool. They faced a lot of problems in resorts and inside overcoming the obstacles, sustainability in our homestays and resorts. Like lot of homestays when we visit the homestays in Nagpur, because of the research, we reached there. There is a owner's point of view. They said, yes, we faced a lot of pandemics and come up with the new ideas, new infrastructures, new facilities are providing the for the what are the tourists are coming to their place. This topic was selected in keeping in mind sudden shutter of the tourism industry created by the obstacles. And our research was conducted through one is literature reviews, and we taken the reference also, and another one is we personally visited to the places, and another one is we created a Google form and we send it to the who are the owners are there in the resorts. Next, this is results. And the conclusion is how the tourism industries, mainly Kodagu districts, came out with the new ideas, new industries. We used to go for the vacation, means we feel like, yes, where the hill stations with the greeneries, we feel like that only. We have to go that places and we have to spend a lot of day. We need a day in there also. And this is a references how we taken. That's all. Thank you.
Dr. Swati.
Yes, ma'am. One thing I want to ask you, why are you not using recent reviews, literature reviews?
This is a paper we prepared 6-7 months back, and we taken the reviews.
I think I have seen 2013 research papers in your literature review part.
This one, right, ma'am?
Yeah,
Yeah.
12, 13, yeah.
When we this is when our paper was we made it. No, we take a research on that in that year. Then
Okay.
we came out with the new ideas, ma'am.
Okay. So nowadays you will just add new papers in your research paper.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Over to Pooja, ma'am.
Yes, Veena. You are
Yes, ma'am.
Veena, you are Veena Santosh or Violet Seema Pinto?
It's Violet.
Violet, okay. Violet Seema Pinto. I just want to understand, have you written any objectives in your paper?
Sorry, ma'am.
Have you written any objectives in your paper? Any objectives you have mentioned? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I wrote actually.
Can you
Am
go
I
to-
audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Can you show me your objectives?
Objectives. 1 second, ma'am.
Yeah. Please share the objectives.
Yeah, 1 second. 1 second.
Yes, we are waiting. Seema.
Yeah, one second, network issues.
You can tell us only. Don't show the slide. You just tell us
It's
what
downloading
are the
actually.
objectives.
Like our object is main thing here to analyze the sustainable challenges in ecotourism in Coorg, Karnataka.
Okay. So
And
what
another
are
one is
the
a comparative analysis of a sustainable. Sorry, ma'am.
yes? Can you explain your first objective? What are the main challenges you
Like
have identified? Yeah. What are the main challenges that you have identified?
We first we went for the resorts and we met the owners in that. We identified that how they are impacted in their lifestyles, how they are adopting their new challenges. And another one is
What are the
like
challenges? I am just asking, what are the main challenges that you have identified in the ecotourism?
one is for main they did not get a customers in the pandemics and all.
Okay.
And another one is for infrastructures and all, ma'am.
What is the comparison you have done?
Sorry, ma'am.
Second objective, you have done some sort of comparison, no? So what is the comparison that you have done?
Comparison analysis of sustainable change by phase to homestays and resorts, ma'am.
Okay,
Like how homestays and resorts are
okay.
like
So
comparatively analyzed.
what is the difference did you found out between the two?
Homestay, main thing homestays face their infrastructures. Then resorts are facing their problems, customers. So they're not getting a proper customers in that time, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Seema, I will give you one suggestion. It is regarding that presentation that you are making. So everything you have written is in the form of a paragraph. So it is very difficult to find out what is your objectives, what are your findings. So I will suggest you that whenever you make the PPT for any presentation, try to make in the pointers so that it is visible, easily visible for the person to understand that what you have written. Okay, so that's all from my side.
Yeah,
Thank
sure,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Now we move to the next presenter, Sonal Singh. Sorry. Sonal Singh is still not available. Okay, the next presenter is Rahul Srivastava.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Is my voice audible to you? And my cam is also visible to you, ma'am?
We can see you, Rahul. You can start your presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Is my PPT visible to you all, ma'am?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, my topic of the research paper is modulating the impact of pharmaceutical marketing on doctors' prescribing behavior towards branded medicine, a critical review, synthesis, and future research orientation. This is my topic. These are the contents which I'm going to cover in my next 10 minutes of time. Introduction, objectives, and methodology, Indian pharmaceutical industry, discussion analysis, findings, limitations, and future research, and conclusion. Now, what actually I will tell you what I have done in my research. Basically, this is the study of the prescribing behavior of doctors. Before 2019, means before the pandemic era, there was a difference in the prescription behavior of the doctors. But after the 2019, when the particular pandemic era has struck the world, we have seen there is a drastic change in the pharmaceutical industry, and the prescription of the doctors have quietly changed. So this was my basic motive of studying the various pharmaceutical methods, that how they have changed after the pandemic has struck the country like India, and also that how this particular prescription behavior of the doctors have changed because of the new methods of the methods of the promotion done by the pharmaceutical industry. Now, My this is a review paper, so obviously. Hello, hello, ma'am. Is my voice audible?
Yeah, your voice is audible, but the presentation is not visible. So please. Can you reshare your screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. For sure. I'm very sorry. You all are because of me or ma'am, your time is being wasted. I checked in the morning. It was working very properly, and the last moment it is
Rahul, I will give you one suggestion that
having some problem.
whenever you come for
Yes,
these presentation, so use laptop. So because
yes, ma'am.
yeah, many times it becomes difficult when you are using the mobile phones. So
Yes,
try
ma'am.
to use the laptops when you are giving any type of presentations. Okay.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I think that it is taking some time. I'm trying it. Meanwhile, can I just go with my presentation? Can I speak, ma'am, about what I have done in my research so that I would be able to share what I have done?
Yes, you can continue, Rahul.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, the main basic idea behind this particular research was that, which states my research question also, and which also was used for the framing of my objectives, was that after the pandemic situation has struck, when this pandemic COVID-19 started from Wuhan city in China in 2019 and it spread all over the world, the prescription behavior of doctors have drastically changed. And this was the I thought it was there is a research gap in between that there was a demographically changes in the prescription behavior of the doctors. So first of all, since I will be conducting my primary data research based paper, after this paper, this is a review paper in which I have studied about where from the time period of 2005 to 2022, 17 years research papers in this particular field I have studied, and I've tried to present it over here in the research paper. I've also studied about the various pharmaceutical department of pharmaceutical and Department of Pharmaceutical Industry of Government of India, that how they have tackled and what kind of changes they have made in the pharmaceutical industry strategies, and also have tried to study the various big pharma companies, how they have utilized this particular aspect of COVID-19 and how they have changed their strategies and a new particular strategies, and how they have came up with a new form of strategies to influence the prescription of the doctors, obviously for increasing their sales. So as per CCI 2021, pharmaceutical accounts for 43.2% of the total out-of-pocket health expenditure of OP in India. Now, since customers are unable to make an educated decisions in medicines, and therefore pharmaceutical firms have done the brand promotion for the prescription of the doctors. Now, here I will like to tell you that pharmaceutical industry basically focuses upon three elements. One is direct customer, and for the over-the-counter drugs, which the customers can purchase directly without any prescription. Second, they focus upon the stockists, that is these chemists, the persons who are the retailers of the particular medicines. And thirdly, they influence the doctors because they ultimately write the medicines. So my research paper is basically focusing only on the third element, that is on the doctor's prescription behavior. Later on, after this review paper, I will be going for a survey conduction of the particular doctors of Eastern Uttar Pradesh, because that will be convenient for me as I am resident of this particular region. My academic relevance of this particular research paper is that it provides a holistic insight in the field of pharmaceutical marketing and its possible effects. So pharmaceutical industry will be benefited by it, and pharmaceutical marketing or the B Pharma students and my medical representatives, they will be benefited by my research paper. Managerial relevance is that the conclusion of this research is used for developing good marketing strategy, which is a very, as we already know that there are certain sectors which went for recession in this particular time period, and there are certain sectors which have taken the boom in this particular pandemic era, like pharmaceutical industry has taken a boom in this, and IT industry has also taken a boom in this particular COVID-19 situation. So why they are getting so much benefit? Because they are working on an effective marketing strategy. But yes, many of the marketing companies are not able to take the advantage, you can say, research. So this particular research of mine will help such companies to better perform on their marketing strategy. So to study the various strategies of pharmaceutical marketing, this is my objective. And second objective was to analyze the impact of pharmaceutical digital marketing, how the technology has changed the prescription, the marketing strategy of the players, key players of this industry, and how they're also impacting the physicians' behavior, doctors' behavior. As I told you, methodology is a complete review of literature. I've tried to systematize it, but I have not used it as a systematic literature review, but I have tried to systemize it as much as possible. Then these are my certain research papers. You can see over here in the presentations. As you can see of the Girija Taneja, he also in the year 2000, he has also done the factor analysis and tried to conclude on the various variables which are available and which influences the particular prescription behavior. Now, what I have tried in this particular review of literature, I have tried to find out, ma'am, that how many variables are there which were used earlier the 2019, and how many variables are there which the players are using for the influencing of the particular prescription of the doctors in this particular era, and what can be the changes and how these variables, there are certain variables I have identified, 10 to 11 variables, and these variables are basically affecting the prescription behaviors, like a medical representative, like communication with the doctors, like samples, like gifts and all, and like after that the seminars, symposiums. These are all the basic variables which are there, which are used by the marketing industry for emphasizing upon the prescription of the doctors. Now, afterwards, in my later on my study, I will be working on these variables only, and I will try to find out whether there is a relationship between these variables and the prescription behavior or not. And also, I will try to find out which particular variable has the maximum significant effect on the particular prescription behavior, so as to let the industry people know that they should work upon these variables so as to increase their sales. Now, as we can talk about the Indian pharmaceutical industry, it is the world's third largest by volume and 14th largest in terms of value. As per to the annual report of 2021, I'm stating this data, Department of Pharmaceuticals, Ministry of Chemical Fertilizers, Government of India. So we can see over here that is the third largest in the world and 14th largest in terms of value. So how important this research will be for them, and also not only for the country level, but also for the global level. Then these are the discussion analysis I have tried. These are the particular variables you can see over here. These are the variables which I have identified in my review of literature: medical representative employment, their not medical representative knowledge, promotional pricing, patient education program. This is a very important aspect: continuing medical education, because doctors also want some kind of continuously education from the pharmaceutical industry, because they are the two persons who deals with the diseases. And we can see over here that within 6 months a new kind of a disease is coming, and so both the R&D department of the pharmaceutical industry, researchers like us, they are continuously helping and supporting the doctors to get known about the various diseases and how they can overcome the particular disease by various pharma medicines available. Also, digital marketing is playing an important role in nowadays. Medical camps is also playing, literature and reminders, customer relationship management, endorsements, and gift incentive. Now, I can tell you the gifts and incentive is also a part which plays a role, but as per to the new regulations, it is not it is unethical, and so companies are not using it in front. So basically, we can see that gift and incentive is not a variable which we can be using in the primary data analysis. Overall, my limitation was that this literature, as you can see, this research paper is only based upon literature review. Right now, I cannot support it with the help of the primary data, which I will be doing in later on. I will be conducting an exploratory research, or I will be doing with the help of the SCA model. But right now, this paper is only of literature. This is a limitation. And there is but I have that after 2009, very less work has been done, which is very important to get researched. And conclusion is that the relationship between the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies must be ethical, and also there should be a strong relationship between the doctors and also the pharmaceutical industry people, because they are the only persons who will be curing the disease of the citizens. And since the global world is facing a lot of disease right now, so we must be working upon this. These are my references. Thank you so much, ma'am. I hope that my slides were visible. I have given my presentation. And I was not quite sure कि you were being able to view my slides or not. Over you too, ma'am.
Rahul sir,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
well explained your slides, okay, but some technical issue, okay, no issue. But I want to know one thing. You just explained in your slide, you also collected some sample, right?
Ma'am, I'm on, right now I'm on my pilot testing basis. I will be doing this in two phases. First, I have done the literature review, which I am presenting in front of you.
Okay.
I have done the 17 years study of previous from 2005 to 2022. And I have
Okay.
searched down various databases such as Scopus, SCI, Elsevier means Clarivet, and other also. So certain research papers I have also taken from Google research also. So Google Scholar also. So I have identified around 150 research papers, and the facts which I have presented over here are based on those 150 research papers. Uh, I
Okay.
collected many research papers, but only 115 research papers were valid and relevant for this research. Now,
Rahul, up, you are not audible. Okay, Sunny, over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Now I would like to call our next participant, Ms. Surekha Yadav.
ma'am, shall I continue or ma'am, shall I stop, ma'am? I was distracted for 3 minutes. This is Rahul Srivastav.
Rahul, you can leave.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Rahul.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Am I visible, ma'am?
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Surekha.
Good morning to all jury member and the professor and doctors who's are the part of this conference online and my dear research scholar friends. So this is the topic for this presentation. Just the case study on Indian Public Sector Bank, Canara Bank, merger with the syndicate bank effect on the stock prices and the financial performance of the acquirer Canara Bank. With the under guidance of Dr. Ajay Kumar Pandey, Associate Professor from MIT Business School, MIT University, Haryana. The list of the contents which I'm going to present in this presentation, the abstract introduction, review literature, problem statements, and below. The abstract about this topic, the Canara Bank merger with the syndicate bank, making the Canara Bank the fourth largest banking in the public sector bank in India post-merger, is a significant study of the banking sector restructuring exercise wherein the reduction, the operation cost, increase in asset base and premise toward the enhancement of the loan quality and the containment of the bad loans, eventually leading to the better stock and the financial performance. The post-merger, the research case studies and attempt to assess the effect of the merger on the stated premises, improvement in the stock price and the financial statement of Canara Bank post-merger. The success of mergers depends on the extent of the synergy achieved between the acquirer Canara Bank and the target syndicate bank. Between these banks, the pre-merger, the research case study through empirical study observed that the Canara Bank stock and the financial performance through has not improved significantly, but the potential of improvement still exists there. Introduction about the study. On April 1st, 2020, the 4 banks were replaced with the 10 public sector units. It was the great, you can say the grand merger and acquisition done by the government announced in August 2019. The 10 banks public sector bank institution is now the 4 bigger and stronger bank, making the largest banking industry in the consolidation process. With the help this, India would have the 12 banks as opposed to 27 in 2017. Sorry. The unique coronavirus outbreak that affect affected our economy has led to widespread speculation that administration may postpone the consolidation effect for a while. The government was forced to consolidate 10 public sector banks into 4 as a result of the rise in the state-owned banks' non-performing assets. And given that state-run bank hold more than the 2/3 of the deposit and advances in India banking industry, the rising trend in bad loan on and the non-performing assets of these bank has hampered the economic growth of the nations. So government seeks to consolidate and enhance the performance as losses caused by the dubious loans increases means bad debts. Additionally, consolidation is also a way to build the strong bank because it is not possible for the government to own less than 51% of PSB bank. So in addition to that, the bank urgently require more funding in order to meet the updated capital adequacy standards set forth by the Basel III worldwide guideline. So based on this, the business entity and the consolidation, why we consolidate the businesses or the banks, these are the main criteria and the considered purpose behind the merger and acquisition, like expansion, yeah, diversification, upgradation of technology. If we want to, then only we'll go for the merger acquisition. Loss-making banks merge with the other healthy banks so that the survival can be done. And the healthy bank merged with the another healthy banks to become the financially strong to meet the competitive pressures like this. The government has announced in 2020 the growth in profits and increase in the marketplace. So these are my literature of reviews related to operating performance approaches and as well as the share prices and the financials. So these are the based on the literature review, we come up with a problem definition that the merger and acquisition is a popular trend for the business expansion in developed countries and is nowadays increasing in the developing country as well. The study says so Indian economy has witnessed glimpse of the such trend in last many years, particularly in the banking sector. So this creates essential needs to investigate the effect of merger and acquisition on the performance of merged bank, so that the other bank can make more informed decision. And the current studies undertaken, they evaluate the merger acquisition on the post-merger financial performance and effect on the stock price of acquirer Canara Bank in India. The objective studies for this paper, they analyze the impact of merger acquisition, effect on the stock prices, and as well as the financial performance of acquirer Canara Bank. Research methodology used for this study, I have done the event study methodology and the financial ratio analysis. In the event study is the statistical tool in we deal and checking the daily return of the stocks with the average abnormal return and cumulative abnormal returns, SCAR and AAR, and the security returns variability during the merger period. Financials may be done the ratios such as the gross and net performing assets, capital adequacy ratio as per the Basel III, and EPS, earning per share, return on investment, and assets annualized to see the effect of merger acquisition to compare the average ratio of the bank pre and the post times. Based on the financial, these are the results and of this merger and acquisition with the syndicate bank. The pre and post, we can see the percentage wise and the EPS in the earning per share in rupees and the NPOs ratios. So based on this analysis, we go to find the results that the capital adequacy ratio it is observed that capital adequacy position was above the 10 in FY 19, 20, 21, means 2 years before the merger and after 2 years post the merger. So pre and post merger period had taken. So highest value is 14.9%, which is observed in 2020-21 after the post merger, and least it was in 18 and 19. So statistical analysis shows that the post merger capital adequacy ratio position is better than the pre-merger, and the arithmetic of the post-merger capital adequacy ratio was 14.12% with an average annual growth rate of 1.7%. Post-merger, the pre-merger position saw that the capital adequacy is low with an arithmetic mean of 12.86%. Average annual growth rate is 1.7%. EPS it is observed that it is increased after the post-merger as compared to pre-merger. Earlier it was in 7.69 in minus, and after the post-merger earning per share was 27.08. NPAs are non-performing assets, means the impact on it is very badly impact the profitability of any banks or any institutions, because all the banks and institutions have to classify their loans as a performing assets and non-performing assets. In classifying in the non-performing assets means the availability of security or net worth of the borrower grantor is not considered for such qualification, means they are not paying on the time and they're just taking the loans and not repaying. So based on this is going to affect the interest income of the bank, which is charged to these banks. So all non-performing assets needs to be prudently provided for that. This will again lead to the reduce the profitability. Serving NPA become the costly in terms of the time, in terms of money and manpower, that reduce the employee productivity and overall profitability of any organization like banks. It is observed that the percentage of gross non-performing assets and net non-performing assets decreased post-merger, which is a good sign for the banks. So based on these results, we come up that this is a decreasing trend, which is good for any bank if NP is decreasing. Based on this, we did their event analysis. Event analysis means we are doing the analysis before the event date and after the event date. When any occurrence is done, usse pehle and uske baad ka will see the impacts of that particular event, particular policies, and etc. So in this, we have taken 2, 10, 50, 100, 150, 200, and 240 days observation, in which cumulative abnormal return for the merger declined for initially, which is a statistical insignificance, that is further it will increase. Because of the pandemic also, it impacted in a negatively in starting, but later on it is showing the positive signs for the merger and acquisition. The CAR analysis of the stock price post-merger stated that it is increased post-merger, and after 1 year, though the majority increase in significant, so it's convey the merger is successful and it has the potential as is perceived by the market and becoming the more beneficial for Canara Bank. And now the Canara Bank is the 4th largest bank in Indian banking sectors. The financial performance ratio indicated the synergy to merger and acquisition. And in terms of the decreasing trend of NPs and increasing in the return on assets and the capital adequacy ratio, the event analysis indicate that stock price post-merger 1 year period increase in later days. But this increase bearing later days is statistical insignificant, which is reinforced by the financial performance analysis also, indicating the slight increase in the gross profit post-merger, but accompanied by the decrease in EPS and the capital adequacy. It means though the merger is absorbing the accumulated bad debts, like NPAs is decreasing, with the silver lining of the slight increase in our gross profit, which is good for the any industry and institution like the banks as well. These my review of literature and references which I have taken. Thank you from my side.
Yes, Surekha ma'am, one thing I want to ask you,
Yes, ma'am.
how your research paper benefited to our society?
Ma'am, you're not audible, Surekha ma'am.
Now I am, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, because of this paper, because due to the increasing like I have earlier mentioned that this is a public sector merger, which is going to be done by the government to synergize the banking sector. And because of this merger and acquisition, so if we'll go for the further means in near future merger and acquisition, we'll see the impact of the merger and acquisition, how positively and negatively, which factor we should see before going a merger.
Okay. And what you think about is is this merger is beneficial to our public or not?
Obviously, ma'am, this is also beneficial in terms of the branches and availability of the branches. Now it's increasing drastically in India. It's around 11,850 something branches after the merger of Syndicate and Canara Bank.
Okay.
And if I'm not wrong, the all the pensioner from the government sector is holding the account either in the Syndicate Bank and in the Canara Bank. So in the regional sector, it is going to help out, and you can find the branches nearby your. Or also, if the operating cost will be decreased, so obviously the government and the bank will introduce the new policies and new interest rates, or maybe some sort of facilities for the customer as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now I would like to invite our next participant.
Should I leave, ma'am? Should I leave? No?
Rekha ma'am, you can leave.
Okay. Thanks, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next participant is Miss Swati Soni.
Good morning, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
I am sharing my screen now. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, all of you. My name is Swati Soni. I am currently pursuing MBA from Parul University. Today, I am going to present my research paper about a study on prospects and possibilities of sustainable tourism in Saputara. These are the contents that I'm going to talk about. Okay, this is the abstract. Sustainable tourism may be defined as traveling in a responsible manner to minimize the harmful impact on the environmental of a place. There are many places which are still underdeveloped. They need to be developed in such manner that won't cause any harm to natural beauty of the destination. I'm going to talk about a beautiful hill station which is called Saputara. It is a place which is so prosperous with serenity. It is hidden gem of a Gujarat, which can and should be defined into a sustainable ecotourism destination. This is the introduction of the hill station that I am going to talk about. Saputara is located in the Dang district of Gujarat. It is situated in Sahyadri mountain range. There are some other information which are about the place. The connectivity, if I'm talk about connectivity, the nearest airport is Surat, which is around 160 kilometers from the place. There are also connectivity of railway and roadways. This is the review literature. A definition given by Global Sustainable Tourism Council, GSTC 2022, it states that sustainable tourism refers to sustainable practices in and by tourism industry. It is an aspiration to acknowledge all impacts of tourism, both positive and negative. It aims to minimize the negative impacts and maximize the positive ones. In our research, it has been revealed that even though Saputara being developed as a tourist spot, there are many fallbacks that are stopping the hill station from growing at its full potential. These are some issues which are faced by tourists as well as the localities. There is a huge problem with parking. along with medical facilities. There is also a huge no proper safety measurement at Gira waterfall. Gira waterfall is very huge waterfall. Also, it is a very famous tourist attraction of the place. So there are no proper safety steps taken. Also, there is also a problem with the local transportation, and the only museum that the place has, it also requires maintenance. This is the research methodology that I have used in the research paper. These are some solutions and results that I have encountered during the research paper. The literacy improvement is a must for the localities, so they can be aware about sustainable tourism. They can be aware about how to do their business without spoiling the place or without doing any harm to the place. Also, there are very so many activities like trekking and paragliding which can be developed into the place to provide more stay, more activities. These suggestions can and should be considered in the planning of developing Saputara as an ecotourist destination. It will help to extend the stay of tourists to 3 to 4 days instead of a 1 day or an overnight picnic spots. This is the conclusion. Tourism industry has potential of providing exposure to untouched places and increase employment as overall growth of the places. Considering the suggestion, Saputara can be developed into a very successful ecotourism destination. These are the references that I have taken. Lastly, I would like to thank all of you for your attention and for giving your precious time. This is a picture of Gira waterfall, which is located in Saputara hill station. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Swati. One thing I have to ask first, how many samples you have collected?
Ma'am, mostly I have based this research on other research that have been published on the same topic.
So in this paper, you didn't use any sample or didn't use any tool?
No, I didn't do anything. Actually, I have used already published data and already taken surveys.
Okay. And how many papers have you reviewed?
Sorry?
How many papers you reviewed in this paper?
Reviewed more than 10 to 15 papers.
10 to 15. Okay.
Yes, because Saputara is very unknown, so there are not many research papers written on this topic. So I have reviewed all the papers that were available.
Okay. Over to Pooja, ma'am.
Yes, Swati. Okay, so no questions from my side. The presentation was good. So Ishani, we can continue with the next candidate.
Our next participant is Puneet Bhatnagar and Dr. Anupama R. Have they joined us? Puneet Bhatnagar and Dr. Anupama R. We move to the next participant, Devaraju N and Pratap BN.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, good morning. Am I audible to you?
Yes, Devraju, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am. Just a minute, I'll share my slide.
Oh.
Yeah, hope my screen is visible.
Yes, your screen is visible. You can continue.
Yes. So very good morning, one and all present here. So myself, Devraj, Assistant Professor and Research Scholar, East West Institute of Technology, Bangalore. I have prepared this article under the guidance of Dr. Pratap BN, Professor and Head Department of MBA, Eastwich Institute of Technology, Bangalore. So coming to the topic, so my topic is all about a study on customer awareness and perception towards mergers and acquisitions of public sector banks with reference to Bangalore city. So these are the content we are going to discuss in this abstract. As we know, the major source of finance providers to the economy is a bank. So in India, we have public sector banks and which are experiencing the mergers and acquisitions nowadays. So it is a trend actually. So the main objective behind the mergers and acquisitions of public sector bank is to grow and succeed and expand their banking services further and permits the banks to become stronger part of our economy. So the recent development and the trend in public sector banks had an effect on its customers and as well as its stakeholders. So this particular research paper mainly concentrated and focused on to understand and to know the variations in the perceptions and awareness stages of the bank's customers to mergers and acquisitions. Yes, this is about the introduction. So the banking sector is considered to be a backbone of our country, every country. So the main reason behind the mergers of banks is to expand their operations and to extend its capital base. So in India, the banks are facing the major problem, that is NPA as a major problem, non-performing asset. So it become a threat to the public sector banks today. So along with the NPA problem, we have more operational and as well as management issues. So that is also become more terrible to the public sector banks today. So the purpose is to improve the efficiency in the banking sector, and it will definitely make a significant change and will resolve the emerging issues and also boost the performance of the banking sector today. So these are the few literatures I have mentioned. So the first research paper, it highlighted the customer awareness and satisfaction and changes in the perception of the customers towards the public sector banks. That is a post-merger performance of the public sector banks. Then the second research paper, it's all about the purpose behind, to identify the purpose behind the merger of Allahabad Bank with the Canara Bank, Allahabad Bank. So then the third paper is all about the customer perception towards public sector banks merger and the current changes after merging. Then problem identification. After reviewing few papers which is relevant to my topic, so the problem statement is many studies have been conducted on the pre and post mergers financial performance of the bank based on the various parameters like customer satisfaction, employees efficiency, productivity of the merged banks in pre and post era. So this particular article is an attempt to understand the differences or variations in the customer's perceptions and awareness level towards the mergers and acquisitions of public sector banks in India. Coming to the research methodology part, so I have three main objectives. The first objective is all about the conceptual one, like to study about the recent mergers and acquisitions of public sector banks in India. Second one is all about to determine the level of customer awareness on mergers and acquisitions of public sector banks. And the next one is to examine the perception of customer towards services of merged banks. So the research design is descriptive one, and I have collected responses from 120 responses, the customers who have accounts in public sector banks, which especially involved in M&A activities in Bangalore city. So primary data has used through the structured questionnaire, and have also used secondary sources, that is through the bank's websites, articles, journals and research papers. Coming to the results and discussions. So based on my second objectives, so that means to determine the level of awareness towards the public sector banks. So I have used Pearson's chi-square analysis for the analysis purpose. So this is what the chi-square table you are seeing on my slides. So based on the demographic factors like age, marital status, income of the respondents. So for each demographic factor, I have tested the chi-square. So based on that, the acceptance and rejected level, so that is you can see in this slide, I have considered the significance level at 5%, it is observed that the null hypothesis is rejected on the basis of education, age, gender, material status, and income level of the people. And there are a significant difference among the respondents about the awareness of public sector banks mergers based on the demographic factor. So by concluding, so the null hypothesis rejected. So that means there is a alternative hypothesis accepted. There is a significant differences among the respondents regarding the awareness of public sector banks mergers based on demographic factor. So this is the result to prove the third objective, that is to measure the perception level, post-merger perception levels. So I have considered 10 major factors based on the services which has been provided by merged public sector banks in India. So I have identified 10 major things to measure the performance level of the customers of the public sector banks which are undergone with the merging activity. Yes, so this is the weighted average analysis which I have done. Weighted average analysis is done with a 5-point Likert scale. Like that is and I have considered strongly agree, neutral, disagree, and strongly disagree class to measure the perception on various criteria of the banking services. So this weighted average analysis helps to know the customer's opinions or differ from one to another, and the responses, that is each and every responses are very important and valuable respondents, or become valuable respondents to us. So the weighted average analysis gives a result that the highest weighted average value observed is 4.23 for the criteria of merger enhances to importment of new banking technology, and the lowest is a 2.68 for the criteria new rules and procedures of banking are affecting you after the mergers. So the weighted average values of all criteria are above 3, and it found that the respondents are having satisfactory perception towards the services of merged banks. So after the study, it is found that there is definitely an impact of public sector banks merger on the changes in the customer perception. So I have rejected by null hypothesis. So alternative hypothesis is accepted. So definitely there is a significant impact of public sector banks merger on the changes in customer perceptions. Coming to the conclusion part. So this study is mainly focused on identifying customer awareness and perception level towards the merger of public sector banks. So as per the study, the customers are definitely having awareness about the awareness of bank mergers, and they have accepted the recent changes and the developments in banking sector. So the study also observed that definitely there is a significant differences among respondents regarding the awareness of public sector banks merger based on the demographic factor like age, gender, marital status, income level, and occupation. So the perception level about the mergers were analyzed based on the various criteria through the weighted average analysis. So it's provided that the most of the respondents are agreed merger enhances to importment of new banking technologies. Respondents are having satisfactory perception towards the services of merged banks. So it is also evident that the customers are expecting a wide range of product and quality services from the merged banks. So the bank employees and the management need to change their attitude in delivering the banking services and need to serve the customers without any delays. So the study suggests that the bank can advance their functioning capacity to give on-time services and by reducing the service and services at their best. So this is all about presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you already each and every point explained in your slide. A very nice presentation. So I have no
Yes.
question for you.
Yes.
Thank you. Over to Pooja ma'am.
Okay, madam. Thank you so much.
Yes, Devrajan, you have done a very good
Yes.
work. Everything is very clear, objectives are clear, and the analysis is also clear. So I just want to know one thing from you, that you have said that the most of the customers are aware of that, what is the benefits they are getting out of the merger. So are
Yes,
they
madam.
are they having just the perception that they are getting to get the benefit, or they are
Dr.
having
Pooja?
the certain, yeah?
We have lost you.
No, Madam, actually, I have collected the data from the customers of the banks which engaged in the merged. Actually, take for example, the customers of Syndicate Bank, now the customers of Canara Bank. So directly, I have visited the Canara Bank and collected the responses. Definitely, they are satisfied with the performance because in Syndicate Bank, performance is not, especially in delivering the service, quality of services. But when the Syndicate Bank merged with the Canara Bank, definitely, comparatively, the Canara Bank services are good. Customers are really satisfied and they are aware about the mergers and data banks.
Okay, that's all from my side, Devraj.
Yes, madam. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
okay,
for the
thank you.
opportunity.
Next participant is Avani, Dhara K, and J Desai. Dhara Avani?
Yes, ma'am, I'm present.
Yeah, please.
Can I start?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a minute, ma'am. So my screen is visible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Myself, Abani Dhara. I am a research scholar from the Gujarat University, and my guide is Jai Desai. Dr. Jai Desai is also from Gujarat University. Our topic is a study of sustainable practices over the business productivity of the selected firms related with the Gujarat state. So here is my content that I am going to present over here. So very first, I'm going to explain about the abstract that I've taken over here. In today's era, if a business wants to be a long-run player of the market, definitely it has to be the part of the sustainable development. You can't ignore the sustain.
Ma'am, your presentation is not visible. Yeah. Now it is.
Okay, okay. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So you have to be the part of the sustainable development. So in this research paper, in this article, we are going to analyze the green practices that were focused to check either it have an impact over the overall business survival or not. So the key intention of our study is to check the impact of the sustainable practices over the mainly the productivity of the firm, and as well as to check the sustainable elements which have the direct impact over the profitability, either it has a positive or in the negative manner. So to achieve this target, we have targeted the respondents that were contacted through the mail. We had created a structured questionnaire and that was shared through the Google form. The targeted sample was the employees from the different organization, and we have achieved that through the different organizations. So that angle also will be achieved. Moreover, to check if overall profitability of the study match with the idea of the sustainability or not. So introductory part, I want to explain that business sustainability is the practice of operating a business without impacting the environment negatively. You can't harm the environment if you want to run for the longer period. So every firm should follow the rules that is provided by the Environment Protection Act, so that while making the profit, that are not becoming the hurdle, or we can say obstacle for the environment. So the green companies are more favorable nowadays. That is the more challenging concept nowadays, because the focus on the practices that protect the livelihood of our earth. Moreover, the green business ensures the safety of the natural resources also. That is also the very good mindset, positive mindset for the organization, that should focus over the 4 R's, that is the reduce, reuse, recycle, or recover. Whenever it is possible to reuse the resources, they should. Decision of being a green business can always be the profitable one in terms of the support for the society, as well as from the on their profit margin also. So that those companies who are financially sponsored these kinds of the activities are increasing day by day. People are now more accepting this concept of the green environment, sustainability concept. So here is the literature review, that are the papers we have studied for our studies, for our article. Now the problem definition. So creation of the productivity and to maintain the same is always difficult faced by the firm. So one must have some objectives in their mind. So here are some of the objectives that we had followed. To very first and keen objective were to gain the knowledge about the different sustainable practices that are adopted by the different organization, to understand how these green practices affect the productivity of the firm, and to check whether the green practices affect their ethics or not. In part of the research methodology, we had used both types of the method, that is primary as well as the secondary. We had mainly collected the data from 112 respondents and statistical testing, that we had used the ANOVA test and the factor analysis. So here is our hypothesis. Mainly we run with the two hypotheses. Very first hypothesis was green business practice related elements significantly affected the selected firm's productivity, and another is the sustainable business practices that produce immediate or direct benefit that are more likely to implement the business entities. So for the very first hypothesis, we had applied the ANOVA tests. Here three main attributes we had taken. First attribute was individual attitude and behavior toward the green practices. Second was about the planning and organizing for the green business practices, and third one was the labor or the workforce involvement in the green business practices. So by applying the ANOVA test, most of the two elements were accepted by the result. That is very first and third one. Second was rejected because somehow we analyzed that somehow planning and organizing stage was not that much implemented, while actually it is the time. So that individual attitudes of and behavior as well as the labor workforce involvement both affect the productivity of the firm. So it is the interpretation of our testing, that is ANOVA test, that is comparison done with the individual attitudes and behavior towards the green business practices, planning and organizing. So that is the p-value 0.02, is that is very less than 0.05. So out of the three attributes, two attribute was more positively affected towards the hypothesis testing. For the another hypothesis that I introduced in the previously, that is sustainable business practices that produce immediate or direct benefit that are more likely to implement by the business entity. So to check that hypothesis, we had implemented some of the business practices. Here I have mentioned 5 business practices, that is recyclable material, reduce the waste, employ energy efficient technologies, use less paper, use renewable energy. These 5 business practices we have mentioned, and check it out, either it is impacting our hypothesis or not. So firstly, it is about the KMO test, is K-Bartlett's test, that again says the positive impact, that is a positive correlation with the productivity of the firm by analyzing the significance level. Then we had implementing the factor loading testing. So you can see that all the factors are above the 0.5 range. So that is again one of the good impact over the productivity. We can say that either less or more, every factor is affecting to the productivity as well. Some are the higher, that is the, say for the example, you use less paper, that factor is more affecting to the productivity, but ultimately all the factors are affecting to the productivity of the firm. Then we had checked the correlational metrics over here, that how they are interacting with each other. Again, that is also very high. And this one is the scree plot, that is the scree plot is suggesting that 2 of the 3 of the factors, first, second and third factors, are more affecting to the productivity, and later on it may affect less, but it is a point where that graph is useful to determining how many factors to retain and where the curves will start to flatten. It can be seen that it is begun to flatten from the factors 3 and 4. So most of the factors are very much highly affecting to the productivity of the firm. So at last we can say that in our article we have taken the 2 hypotheses. So the proved death hypothesis, we had used the ANOVA and factor analysis. That is, so after analyzing all those things, we have come to conclude that business can't be run effectively without prioritizing the sustainability concept. You have to accept it. Either it's a banking industry, manufacturing, or any other industry, it must try to minimize the harm to the nature for survival for the longer period of time. So that's it. That is about the research came to the conclusion. Business can't escape themselves from fulfilling the duties towards the society. Implementing the green business practice is one of the type of the gratitude that you can show by the firm to the society. In this article, our work was mainly focused on solving some doubts that implementing green business practices affect the productivity of the firm or not. And if some of the business practices having the direct effect over the firm, then the firm use those practices on the routine basis or not. So by using different statistical method, we succeed in solving these doubts in the positive manner. So these are the references that we took during the paper creation. That's it from my side. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Your research paper is very good. I think it's excellent.
Sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you.
Hello. Now I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Your research paper is too good. It's excellent.
Thank you, ma'am.
Over to Pooja, ma'am.
Yes, Dr. Swati. Yeah.
Any question?
Yeah, Dr. Swati, your paper is as Dr. Just a second. Yeah, Dr. Abhani.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Abhani,
Actually, I cannot see on the Zoom. There is some problem. So, yes, you have done a very good work. And the one thing I just want to know, because initially I just lost the connection. So you have done a study of sustainable practices over business productivity. So which organization you have basically done?
We had selected multiple organizations.
Multiple.
We have selected 112 samples total.
How many samples?
112.
Okay, 112. So these are from different organizations.
Different organizations. Some from manufacturing firm, somewhere from banking industry as well.
Achha, okay, you have selected different industries for that.
Yes.
Okay. So can you differentiate any result that in manufacturing is somewhat different from the banking, that sustainable practices is making more effect on manufacturing than in the banking industry? Some sort of difference you have identified in the research?
Yes, ma'am. We tried mainly to check it out. Either that business practices is affecting to the productivity of the firm or not. So one or less, either it is the manufacturing firm or banking industry or any other type of the firm, one or less in the manner, they are all accepting that case. You have to accept the green business practices. Some have used the less paper usage. They have decreased the paper usage. Some have said that they have now more becoming online. That is work from home concept. So either it is any of the industry, they have one or another way they have accepted that you have to accept the sustainability concept.
Yes, I can understand that. But one more thing, how you have measured the productivity?
We had put a questionnaire. We have framed the questionnaire and we asked their employees from the different sectors. So they have said that yes, our productivity is based on this factor.
Okay.
It was their opinion.
Okay, that was your opinion, that productivity you have measured.
Their own companies or their particular single productivity is increase or decrease or whatever changes.
Okay, so productivity measurement is also the perception. You have asked about the perception that productivity is increasing just because
that was their personal opinion. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Dhara.
Okay, thank you so much.
We move to the final presentation by Kanika Thakur.
A very good morning to one and all present.
Good morning.
I will just share my screen. I hope it's visible, ma'am.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So a very good morning to one and all present. My name is Kanika Thakur and I'm a research scholar at Amity Business School, Haryana. The following paper has been prepared under the guidance of Professor Dr. Vikas Madhukar, Pro VC, Amity University, Haryana. The topic of my presentation is sustainable aesthetics features of sustainable aesthetic in the built environment. Starting with the abstract, sustainability implies that the environment and nature are an exhaustible source of resources and subject to protection and rational use. So the aesthetic expression of sustainability concept and values is referred to as sustainable aesthetics. Now, researchers over the years have analyzed the question of sustainability aesthetics and the ways that it is expressed in the field of architecture. Now, with the growing environmental awareness and emerging design and performance requirements related with the implementation of sustainability goals, the architecture industry is not an exception to this. So based on the results of literature analyzed, the purpose of this paper, the research, is to determine the features of sustainable aesthetics that could become a valuable source of inspiration for the architectural design industry, for policymakers, for management of the built environment in general, and so on. Beginning with the introduction, I would like to first start with introducing, what architecture and sustainability and aesthetic together means. So architecture is a physical shaping factor of environment, embodying energy, material, as well as expressing our values, undoubtedly serve as a mirror of the sustainability state of societies. Now, sustainable architecture is an architecture that is fully based on the principle of sustainability. So our Sustainable Development Goals 11, which focuses on making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable, generally reflect ethical values. And so this particular goal, it holds the potential for sustainable aesthetics in it. Hence, sustainable aesthetics can be an important quality criterion. Coming on to the literature review. Now, when we, as laymen hear the word aesthetic, I think what comes to our mind is beauty. Aesthetic is related, directly related to beauty, but it has so many more layers to it. In the 18th century, the term aesthetic was coined by a German philosopher, Alexander Baumgarten, who defined aesthetic as the science of sensory perception. Now, according to Marshall, sustainable design involves reconsidering the way objects are thought about, developed, produced, distributed, reused, recycled, and so on. Marshall identified 6 systems of
Ms. Kanika, we have lost
aesthetics is one of the such dimension in it. Designer's pleasing quality. So color, movement, pattern, scale, shape, weight, and one of the BREEAM International Building Certification Standard. And so the criteria which actually hold potential for sustainable aesthetics are marked in green. So we can see here visual comfort and life cycle impacts, designing durability, and there is ecological value of the site and protection. Another such literature review was done on the LEED building standards, and the features that hold, the potential for sustainable aesthetics are as follows: sensitive and land protection, reused parking footprints, protect or restore habitat, and there are features such as renewable energy, building life cycle impact reduction, low emitting material, interior lighting, daylight, quality views. So these are certain criteria that holds the potential for sustainability, for aesthetic in it. Another review was done of the Wells building standard, which includes criteria such as visual lighting designs, daylight strategies, circulation networks, which actually includes aesthetic aspect in it, material restrictions, interior hazard material management, nature spaces, on. So depending on the literature we've reviewed, so we've come up with certain features. So we're not just talking about what sustainable aesthetics is. We want to actually give certain features that can be inculcated in a day-to-day environment, in our buildings, and can be actually put to use at the ground level. So we've come up with certain features that can be adapted by building structures, by designers, or even as laymen, we can ask for these features in our buildings or houses, or even the commercial buildings and our environments. So our first feature is use of natural forms and materials. In this, one such material or form is rammed earth interior walls. Now, earth construction is one of the oldest and durable techniques for building structures. It can be used as thermal storage, allowing the sun to warm them in the day and then slowly release the warmth in the cold evenings. This is also a low carbon technique form, which in which soil and binders is placed in layers and then pressure is applied to create a hard and durable surface. So it can act as a replacement for conventional concrete bricks and materials as well. Another such material is bamboo. Bamboo is a truly remarkable green building material. It is twice as strong as concrete and slightly stronger than steel. Its elasticity allows it to weather storms and earthquake that would break or crumble with other building materials. It is also fire resistant. It has features such as it has a very high strength to weight ratio. So bamboo can also be used for construction of walls and making partitions inside our homes. Second feature that we'll be talking about is integration of traditional and modern techniques of building. Now India is rich in culture and architecture heritage is slowly it's vanishing in our built environment and structures that we witness today. This is primarily due to increased usage of industrially produced and standardized materials. So there is an architectural form of making buildings which is known as vernacular architecture. So the term vernacular architecture is it generally refers to the informal building of structures through traditional building materials by local builders. Now we can see in this table here there is a differentiation between the two, the vernacular and the modular. The former uses cultures cultures that are well defined settlement patterns. It uses there is a potential for sculptures in it, high social bonding due to the presence of courtyards, etc. Whereas all these features are missing in the modern architecture. So we're not suggesting that we go back to the traditional ways of building, but we are suggesting that there should be a blend of the two. Now, these are some examples, and these are examples from India itself, where they have used a combination of traditional and modern architecture. For example, Center for Development Studies, Trivandrum, the Mud House in Faridabad, Vashi Farmhouse in Surat. So these are some beautiful examples of where the vernacular, the traditional and the modern architecture is used. Third feature that we will be talking about is aesthetic upgradability. Aesthetic upgradability and modularity. Now, one of the forms of product life extension is upgradability or modular design, which is concerned with the ability of products to be upgraded as technology or styling changes. Now, this can be, made possible by changing the color, shape, pattern, line, texture, visual weight, balance, and so on. While using these elements, it will help us to achieve upgradability in the built environment and slow product obsolescence and improve product serviceability. And just by making small changes to our built environment, it gives life to our space. And we should consider upgrading our built environment rather than replacing it. So that ways. And the fourth feature that we've talked about is the use of natural light. Now, the use of natural light in the sense that we can, install skylights in our houses. Now, the skylights, good days skylight, it helps us to, bring in the natural light, and which also saves electricity. And yes, it is, energy consumption is there and so on. But the placement of windows is also very important, and we should, really think about it. So a south-facing window will provide indirect light in the summer, whereas a north-facing window can help us to use daylight, as they admit relatively even glare-free light and almost no unwanted summer heat gain. Another way to inculcate natural light into our built environment is through reflective lights. Now, there are places where, natural light cannot reach. So we can use this simple technique where we can place a reflective material. And so the reflective light reduces glare and allows it to reach areas that would otherwise lack natural light. Now, I would like to conclude by saying that sustainable aesthetic features are not just limited to these. It is a very new and emerging field among researchers these days, and more research into this area should be encouraged in order to find more features that can be incorporated into modern construction or building to make them aesthetically sustainable. Here is a list of references.
Dr. Swati? Dr. Swati, Dr. Pooja.
I think Dr. Swati is not here. She has taken 2 minutes break when she's on a call. Okay. So yeah, Kanika, I will just like to know that what the data you have collected or what the information you have shared, what is the source of that information?
Ma'am, it is mainly through online journals, research papers like Scopus also, and through ResearchGate also. So, I mean, there are researches done on this topic, and so we've used those researches to, find out these features or to find out the area that is still available and which is, under research and it has so much potential.
So what I think this is all the secondary data that you have collected. So what
Right.
what would be your future research on this? Because this is all the secondary data suggestions that you have given. So what is the future
Right, right, ma'am.
research? Yeah.
So, ma'am, what we are actually, my PhD topic. So, we are studying the consumer buying purchase intention when it comes to sustainable aesthetics. So, we actually want to see whether it is, consumers are ready for it or not, or even, whether there is awareness or not. Because we don't think about it. I mean, we believe that it should be a bottom-up approach. If consumers are aware, they will ask for these features. So designers will be, forced to put these features into the practice. So that is something that we are doing in future.
Okay. Okay, Kanika, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, with this presentation, we are coming to an end of this session.
Ishani, don't we have any others? There was one Sonal Singh.
Yeah, are they available? Mr. Sonal Singh is available.
No.
And Puneet Bhatnagar. Ma'am,
They are
2
not
presenters are not available.
Okay, so now we can close it.
Yeah. Before that, like we have concluding the session. Before that, I would like to invite Dr. Swati Prasad to give her words of wisdom to the participants.
Thank you, MIT University, to giving me chance to as a chairperson in this session, and too much energetic participant in our session. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Pooja ma'am, and thank you, Isani also. Thank you.
I will like to congratulate all the participants for sharing such important knowledge today. Surely this is going to help us all think and move towards the goal of sustainability. I would like to thank Dr. Swati Prasad for her presence and her insight on different topics. I would also like to thank Dr. Pooja Jaiswal for her guidance. Dr. Swati, with your permission, we would like to end the session. Thank you all the participants and best wishes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.